Today's Tuesday, December 14th. This is the 1967 Oldsmobile Toronado tilt and telescopic steering column for my friend Dave Thomas in Ohio. This is a fully restored level 10 comprehensive show quality restoration whereby everything has been completely disassembled all the way down to the final screw. And in the predecessor videos, video 1 and 2, I have the bench layout of all of the individual components laid out on the bench, which includes the individual body components that were sprayed separately, and thereby leaving this beautiful polished conical collar, which is indicative of an Eldorado George tilt and telescopic steering wheel restoration. So this is the original number 10 satin black for 1967, and we're going to go ahead and do the functional validation test in this final video. And I've gone ahead and connected the unit to power, and we'll go ahead and put the turn signal lever up, which would be indicative of a left-hand turn since we're upside down revealing the wires. Okay, and I'll go ahead and touch the corresponding wires, and we'll be looking for the light bulb to come on. Left hand front, left hand rear, left hand front, left hand rear. Okay, so that's the electrical continuity for the left-hand turn signals, front and back. And now we'll be canceling out the cancellation cam, and it goes back to neutral. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and put the lever down like we're making a right-hand turn, and we'll touch the solid wires for right hand, and the light bulb comes on. Right hand front, right hand rear, right hand front, right hand rear, and the left hands do not come on. So the lefts are inert and the rights are fully functional with electrical continuity, just like it's supposed to be. And we'll go ahead and cancel out by rotating the shaft, and we cancel back to neutral. So the cancellation cam is working perfect, the pivot arm is working perfect, and all of the electricals are 100% validated for the turn signals. So now we'll go ahead and test the bottom arc connector, the 3-pin arc connector for the cornering lamps. These are the large rectangular lamps at the bottom of the front fender. So again, we'll go ahead and connect the power to the feed and put the left hand signal in motion, and the light bulb comes on for left hand. Light bulb comes on for left hand. And we'll cancel out and make a right hand turn, touch the right hand wire, and the light bulb comes on. Left hand does not, and right hand does. So that's the check for the cornering lamps. So we've tested the front and rear turn signals. We've tested the bottom cornering lamps, and now what's left to test electrically is the 5 connectivity emergency hazard. And to actuate the emergency hazard, we turn the column over and we push in this button right there as such. Okay, and now we should have 5 wires providing electrical continuity, because in the emergency hazard mode, you have both left and right, front and rear turn signals flashing, as well as the brake lights. So that's going to be 5 wires. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the brake, 5. One, 2, 3, 4, and the brake, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's the emergency hazard mode. And now I'll go ahead and rotate the spline, and we cancel out of the emergency hazard mode. So that's a 100% validation of all of the electricals of this beautiful tilt and telescopic steering column. Absolutely gorgeous. Show quality. I'll just go ahead and review what was done. Each of the internal bare metal components, such as the primary shaft and the shifting tube and the extender, have all been acid dipped and climatized with a corrosion-resistant surface treatment. The external bodies, as I said, the outer tube, the shifting collar, and the upper shroud bowl cover have all been painted separately. And now that I'm going to do the mechanical testing with the 5 degrees of freedom, or 5 positions, we'll take a look at the polished collar, which is indicative of an Eldorado George restoration. So that's full down, partial, neutral, partial, and full. Partial, neutral, partial up, and full up. Back to neutral. A little bit challenging to do that since this is very, very powerful and we're not secured into the vehicle. Obviously, we're just free floating on our bench here. So I had to hold it down while actuating. So it's a little bit difficult to demonstrate that. So that's the full 5 degrees of freedom. And that completes the functional validation test of this beautiful show quality 1967 Oldsmobile Toronado tilt and telescopic steering column. This is video number 3, the final okay to ship confirmation video for my friend Dave Thomas. A couple of differences in the Eldorado versus the Toronado. So in the Toronado and the Eldorado, we have the same smaller spline, consistent with both vehicles, unlike the DeVille's, for instance, which have a 1-inch spline at the bottom. We have the 3/4-inch spline on the Toronado, just as we do on the Eldorado. But one of the differences that differentiates the Toronado column is the shifting collar is much larger, and we have this cover cap, and this cover cap is for the shifting needle. So in the Eldorado, we have a white-tipped shifting needle. In the Toronado, we have the beautiful, sporty, red-tipped needle. Okay, and that goes in right here. You negotiate it through, basically like this, tighten down the set screw, and then you have the cover cap. Okay, so that's a Toronado-specific differentiator between the Toronado and the Eldorado. So we have the cover cap, we have the red needle, we have the longer shifting collar, and those are the differences between the Toronado and the Eldorado. So this is George in Florida. I have over 75,000 original vintage 1967 to 1970 Cadillac items in my collection. Over 375,000 1959 to 1978 Cadillac items overall. I'm best known for my restoration of the Cadillac steering wheels, the tilt and telescopic steering columns, such as this beautiful example, the power seat mechanisms, the instrument clusters, and other critical, hard-to-source, original vintage Cadillac items. And on occasion, such as in this particular duration over the last 3 weeks, we've done 4 Toronado steering columns. So there you go. We're doing Toronado steering columns now as well. So this is George in Florida. Today is Tuesday, December 14th. Thank you very kindly.